Howdys and salutations, y'all. We are back. So, let's see who we got in here today. All the typical bots. Good to see, good to see. Let me see if I can find a view that actually shows me the viewers, because I have finally learned the difference. Also, if any of you are actual viewers and not bots, I apologize for calling you bots, but I must say, you are almost mechanically efficient at finding when I come online. So, instead of taking too long for that, although I do want to grab another one of these, let's see. Stream info, perhaps? No, we already did that. Perhaps it is activity feed? No. There shan't be any activity just yet. Stats what I seek? Yes, it is, an actual viewer count. Maybe we pop that above even. Cool. Well, now that we've got that sorted out, I apologize for the ever so slight start to the stream. The software I use updated, and I needed to log back in, and I had to go remember my password. But that is done. We are back at it again with the Pokemon Abominations. Sorry for last week. Looks like I came down with a little bit of a bug. So if you watch those VODs, you'll notice a very abrupt drop in energy levels. But no worries. We're back at it with a fresh start, fresh week, fresh energy. Hopefully we can actually keep it up a little longer past Monday next time. But if we can't, that's a-okay as well. We'll just keep on keeping on until we get there. So, where we left off, we were wrapping up our little Mur-oh-KROW. This, whatever it is. Nah, it's fun. But let's see if we can't have some fun with this, and also figure out where the heck those boxes are coming from. Good, it's the color layer. I should remove those. Meh, they're fine, they're not doing any harm. That said, I should probably find a different background for this one. That's certainly intriguing. Whoa, okay. Out-of-body experience for Mur-oh-KROW there. Oh, I'm on the wrong tool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get back in the swing of things a little. There we go, now I can move this around. Maybe zoom in a tad. So where we'd left off, it looks like we'd sorted our colors out. I know I was messing around with the leaves a little bit and having fun with those. And, yeah, we'll pick this back up, because I think what's next is shading. Did I call this Magius instead of... Oh, no, this was actually a Miss Magius. Yeah, I like the Pokemon. I'll admit for that one I did actually have a reference in that I have a 3D printed model of Miss Magius. Or Miss Magius, or Miss Magius, or Miss Magius. Man, there's too many different ways to pronounce that one. But it is also one of the few Pokemon I can actually draw reasonably well from memory. I had a fun team. Not in Original Diamond. I did shockingly badly in Original Diamond. Like, embarrassingly so. I mean, I get that Cynthia's hard, and frequently people don't get past her, but, like giving up on Azelf, that's just a poor showing. Ah, well. I went back through with, Shining Pearl, or whichever one is Shining, whichever is Brilliant. It's Shining Pearl. Yeah, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And I must say, I had a grand old time. The first Pokemon game I've really enjoyed in quite a while. Not that I disliked the others, necessarily, but, like, this one was actually memorable. So many of the others I was so stressed about, like, oh, it's just gonna fade, like, I'm gonna get like 20 hours in and then just kind of get bored, and I fretted myself out of enjoying it. This one I just had fun, and it was a grand time. So I've done the lazy thing you shouldn't do, which is putting all the colors on one layer. And I just called that layer flats. And that does make things harder. But I mean, honestly, I'm kind of thinking let's just go for it. Because we'll try some other things later this week. We've got, let's see. I do want to try to wrap up Pokemon stuff today and tomorrow if I can. It's been fun, but I think it's about time we move on to some new ideas. I'm going to look and see if there's any challenges in September that exist, you know, sort of like the former Inktober before things went awry. Stuff like Art Fight was for August, or July. Wow. By the way, Team Bloom was the victors in Art Fight. We won. I'm sure the 6 points I contributed were grandly effective in the total of over 1 million for each side. But it was a good time, and I'm better prepared for next year. I won't have to, join 3 weeks late and then do character ref sheets for the 4th week, and then just like panic draw for 3 days. So yeah, so I'm gonna try to do that. We'll probably wrap up Mur-oh-KROW here, and then we'll try another thing I've been wanting to work on. I may show off the Mewtwo, like 3D or not 3D, AI generated Mewtwo we did a while back, but I don't think I'm gonna draw that one because frankly it looks so cool in its own right and the style is nice enough that I kind of just want to leave it at the AI one. This one's sort of a similar deal, but I liked that we were able to refine this one a little bit. I think Mewtwo benefits from the sort of chaos. And let's see. What was I doing? Right, yes. Wow, multiple. It's amazing how quick you lose muscle memory on stuff. So we're doing this the same way we've done our shading up to this point. I'm gonna go to the flat layer. I'm gonna add the shading layer right above it. We're gonna clip the shading layer to it so that it treats only the stuff outlined or filled in on the multiply layer, only the stuff filled in on the flats layer as actual ground to work on, and everything else might as well be the endless void for all it cares. So we clip it, and then instead of just drawing directly over it, we're going to do multiply, which basically means that, instead of just, different thing. Instead of just drawing a line directly over it, we're basically, it's like putting a layer of colored, like, whatchamacallit, saran wrap, shrink wrap, that stuff. So like putting like plastic saran wrap over it with different colors, and so it's just another filter on it. So I do want it to be multiply. I do think that for the shadows, I like using the same color. Although actually there is something to be said for opposite color shading. Although I don't know, we might be a little too potent on that one. I forget what the actual secret is. It's not opposite color shading. But it's that like reds are good shadows for blues and blues are good shadows for reds, but purple's sort of in a nice little comfortable zone between the two. So actually, where do we land with this one? Oh, we're over here. Okay, we could land further in the pink then for the shading, see if that works. Then we'll go for our selector brush. So instead of being a normal brush where this just plops pickles, wow, not pickles. Maybe I need to slow down my talking a little today. I know I said we were bringing the energy back after last week, but this is maybe too much. But yeah, instead of just popping pixels down and saying color is this, we'll basically just select an area and then we can fill it. So let's work on some of these shadows. And the embarrassing fact that, again, I probably should have done some of these on different layers, but what have you. You can't draw on the wrong layer if all your art is on the same layer. Terrible life hack, don't do that. Okay. We're going to take a little time, get back into this one, and then we'll jump on to the next activity, hopefully halfway through. Oh, and I guess the other secret of this magic selecty brush is we also have an erase select, so we can, if we draw outside the lines, we can just unselect it before we fill. It's good fun. It's good fun. Sharpen some of this off a little bit, and then sure. Ooh, actually, yeah, I do like that as a shadow. Okay, we're going to keep with this trick. I don't know why I just remembered that spontaneously. It has been a long time since I learned that using the sort of reds to shade blues and blues to shade reds trick. But yeah. Okay. So let's think about how we want to do this. Obviously part of the head will be in shadow, but that's a different color. Let's focus on the purples for now. Where are the shadows going to be? I think we'll have like a little bit of shadow under here. We can sort of hint at a few more leaf feathers if we want. Leaves and feathers are weirdly similar. Like, not just from this drawing, but in general, like, they're weird. Yeah. We can add a little more curve to this, methinks. Trim a little out of that. We go back to a slightly larger point, too. 3 always gets a little finicky. Let's see. Not the best shadow there. probably ought to not have this come out too far, and it shouldn't match them exactly because it's supposed to be on ruffled terrain itself. But I just kind of like messing with it. I'm going to shade all of that. See, this is where just use a bigger brush and then the filling in is much easier. Shouldn't be doing spirals when I don't have to. Okay. Clear some of that out. We got a little bit of a shadow matching those. We'll give like a little shade to these. I guess at this point we're just assuming that the light is sort of just above, which is going to cast most of it into shadow, really. It should actually be pretty fun. I'll assume it's a little bit to the left. Probably shouldn't have too much light there. Could have like a little more under this one. Let's clean up that edge a little bit. There we go, there we go. Same deal up here by our Oranberry for the record. Okay. And quite a lot of this will be in shadow. And we'll just grab a big one for sort of the center parts here. Probably shouldn't use the same shade color on the yellow. And I guess with where those are sort of nestled, they won't be fully shaded anyway. So yeah, I'll try to shade around them and clean that up a bit later. Okay. Man, working with lines is interesting. Like actually having line work on the end, I don't do it all that much. It's something I ought to do more, really. And these Pokemon have been good practice for that. But I will say one of the things I have planned for next month, assuming we don't find an art challenge or some such to go and just throw ourselves at, is another style study. I remember last time we did our style study of Harpy G, a wonderful little comic, great fun. This one, however, is another of my absolute favorites. But it's unfortunately on hiatus, just a fair heads up, but it's still worth the read. Maybe it'll finish someday, maybe it won't, but the journey is worth it. I am a huge fan of this cute little comic called Cucumber Quest. And part of that reason is it's one of the first really lineless ones that I read, that I've ever followed. And I really love how the style looks in it. It's super comfortable and adorable. Cozy's the word I'd want to use for that. And it's just a really great fun. And so I'd love to do a style study of that, but it's lineless. Part of its style is that it's lineless. And so I'm really looking forward to that one whenever we get a chance to do it. I'm just sort of, even as I say lineless, I'm still outlining quite a lot of this. The way of it. Like, I still think in lines. I really ought to think, well, maybe I think in shapes, but I still, like, when translating it to the page, I'm like, okay, and then the line for this needs to go here. There might be a better approach to that. I don't know. Or maybe that's the right way to go about it. Or maybe it's one of those things where it's just whatever works. But usually even the whatever works things, some methods end up being easier than others, at least for certain people. And so, like, worth experimenting with them. Being like, oh, if there's 3 options, let's give them all a shot on different drawings. Or if you're feeling really ambitious and you want like a proper like scientific study, you draw the same base drawing and then do the 3 techniques and all different ones. But give them all a shot. See what sticks. What's good for you? What's good for other folks? Maybe you'll find some hybrid of them is the best. And I do realize that I'm probably repeat myself, but I am also basically talking to myself for 2 hours every day. So, if I'm getting repetitive, obviously you don't have to say a thing in chat, but you're welcome to. If you want to just throw me off topic, get me talking about something else, I am, well, presumably capable of that. Truthfully, I haven't tried. Okay. We can sort of apply some feathers in here, even if we really want to with the shading. These will definitely be under shadow, except for just the very edges. Enjoying some Undertale music, although we had some good Mario stuff earlier. By the way, fun fact about Undertale music, it is copyright free as of the original creator, so you can use it. Also, it's really good. These are remixes of it, but even the originals are fun. I'll just add this onto the selection. Doopa doopa zoopa doopa doopa. And for anyone tuning in late, I have finally figured out a way to tell how many viewers versus how many are bots or just non. They're not technically all bots. Anyone with a non-account shows up as the, I think it's users, is what it's called. But most of the non-account visitors are bots. So I now can actually tell how many people are really here, which is nice. Slightly embarrassing it took that long to figure out, but also slightly weird that it's measured that way. So yeah, I'll call it a draw. Whoops. Selection pen. Add a little bit to that. Trying to think if the shadows should actually be the other way based on how feathers would work, because this feels inverted for some reason. I'll have to come back and take a look at that. Okay, for starters, just shading all the way around that piece. It's full stop. Boom. And now we can think about the fact that quite a lot of this is still going to be in shadow. Just get my outlines in here. Think about, do I want these to be poking out enough to catch the light? Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Or one of them at least. Let's pop up to a bigger brush size. Start just filling some stuff in. And we'll keep on keeping on. There we go. Fill that in. I feel like there ought to be a curve to this. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit and see how we're looking. Yeah, shadows still aren't believable because the pants are so bright. We're gonna have to obviously get that shading going next, but that's fine. Anywhere else we want to throw in a few? And the leaf shadows up here are actually turning out pretty good. Throw in a little more there. See if that's distracting or not. Nope, don't want screen tones. One of these days I'm gonna do screen tones because it basically is how I shade anyway, so it'd be good for a black and white one maybe. I mean, you don't have to go black and white with screen tones, but you know, easy. Definitely makes the head pop more though, doesn't it? Having all these shadows going. Okay, I'm gonna tweak this one. I don't think this one's looking the way we want it to. Add like just a little more chaos to it. Make it look like some actual feather patterns are going on. That's better. If we need to add another layer of shadow, we can. Like, because some areas ought to be real dark. That's certainly doable. Whoops, nope, not there. Or the other section of yellow I had selected by accident. Oh, we will get that a little bit. Going with these. And this song's so quiet, like calm, it's gonna put me to sleep. Edgy though. Oh, I guess we oughta, based on where our light source is, these ought to cast a shadow, oughtn't they? That ought not, though. Sorry, dot. Sorry, dot, you ought not. Okay, we'll keep on going here. And then let's leave the purple at, well, okay, I want to sharpen this one a little bit because it's, I realize feathers are rounded oftentimes, but whoa, no, just fill, please. But like, they end up looking too much like just a brush stroke when you make them just a brush stroke if you're not careful. So, there we go. Now that's distinct, but not distractingly so. Okay, let's see. The twig turned out pretty good, actually. I'm quite happy with how scratchy and sort of mangly that is. Okay, so we're looking at yellow. Let's see, blue to pink, pink to blue. I don't know where yellow falls on that. Do we shade with green or with red? Probably green if I want them drier, red if I want them to actually look good in this drawing. So, let's actually just grab our yellow tone. Hop ourselves over to this a little bit, and we'll go from there. We're trying not just shading with lighter or darker of the same color or hue, but we're actually trying some different things to add a little warmth. If I wanted this to be cold, I, could have done that, and that might have been smart. But yeah, I like the warm style. We don't want this guy to be too ominous. He's just doing his thing. Get in the nook and crevice there. Let's see. Doopa doopa. So, I've been looking for good shows to watch lately. I know I have a million in my queue that I ought to watch, but I'm specifically looking for stuff in English, because I'm looking for stuff I can multitask with, and you can't do that with anything that's like an original language. So obviously if its original language is English, I suppose that works, yes, but trying to find good stuff. And finally got around to watching a little bit of Assassination Classroom earlier. I tried One Punch Man. I gotta say, the humor is my style, but the gruesomeness is not my cup of tea. I like fun little wholesome stuff. Let's go for this. Not sure if that one works or if it just looks sort of like rough around the edges, but either way, that's fine. We could try adding a little texture to this one. I'm not sure it's going to make it better or worse. Actually, that's awesome. Okay, leaving that one. Doopa doopa. Also, if you ever want to throw a message my way, and you don't want to throw in chat, statistically, the odds are you're someone I know. So feel free to throw it to me in Discord. If you're not, happy to have you. You're always welcome by. But yeah, no, we're just sort of plugging along, enjoying the... This is the most elevator music-y song, and I mean that as a compliment. I like elevator music, which probably says some things about my music tastes, but neither here nor there. I actually really like what that did. Okay, but yeah, it's just very calm, but it feels like, because of this constant ticking, almost metronome-y sound, it's like, feels like you're working towards a goal. Let's see, how do I want to shade this? I tend to like to go to cool colors on white. That's not how I'm gonna... What? No, definitely not the way to shade that. Okay. I mean, if I think about the cloak covering most of this, What is going to be visible? The dolly is not the worst reference on this one, honestly. And y'all can see that, right? I did remember to actually share that. Yeah, okay, cool. Because these are our AI-generated Pokemon. Still probably the last day of AI-generated Pokemon, and then we'll move on to the next thing we're working on, which is, actually, I just want to draw everyday objects in the style of, like, Pokemon objects, specifically all the curry ingredients from Sword and Shield. I really like the art style on those. They're very fun. I'd like to do more of that. So, I am open to suggestions for ingredient types. Though again, you're not required to participate. I ain't your teacher. You're not graded on how much you contribute. You're welcome to just lounge. But, if you want to throw something my way, feel free. Friendly or hostile, for the record. Now, it doesn't mean I'm just going to take it, but, like, I'm open to criticism. I'm open to backseating my art. Please, actually. The whole point of this channel is that I'm learning as we go, hopefully with y'all in the process. So feel free to backseat away. Teach me. In turn, maybe I'll teach you something. The way of things. And they say the best way to learn something is to teach it. So, I mean, technically, even if no one's here and I'm just teaching an empty void, that's probably still beneficial, but I'm, you know, also more than happy to have actual conversations. Let's see. Oh, phooey, what was my shadow color? Right, I could pick off. Neat thing with this tool, assuming it'll let me, I can do just the top layer. Oh, okay, I guess that's what that magenta was. Gotcha. Let me go back to my select. Because I can make that either be the top layer, so we're getting just what's on the highest, or I can get, well, I guess there's a few options with the color picker. They're kind of weird. Oh, yeah, there it is. Pick displayed color. So I could try to grab what the actual outcome purple is here, if I do this, or I can just grab from the top layer, and that's what's actually on the filter. So that's a very helpful difference. Okay, let's see. Here, we'll try to shade this in a little bit. And then make sure we don't accidentally shade the pants in this color. It'd be a little jarring. Oh, right, we need to get the head. You know, it really does make the eye that much more piercing. It's ominous. Knowingly ominous, mind, but ominous nonetheless. Okay, so I guess this means let's grab our top color from this. Our sort of cool shading color. I have done this once before on stream. How on earth did I forget how to do nice contrasting shade colors? Ah, it's a mystery. I always like that. When you come back to the drawing tool after a little while, you're like, oh, like piecemeal over weeks and weeks. You're like, oh, I remember this trick. Why the heck was I used to do this all the time. Although my digital art experience is still fairly limited, truth be told. So there's only so many tricks I can remember. But in terms of just actual art stuff, I've gotten a decent bit of practice. I'm still amateur, but getting better. Let's see. I suppose if I really want that to be believable, I'm going to need to grab the leaf color, shade the upper eye with it too. Ah, such is the way. Just most of the upper eye. And hope that this doesn't end up making this poor bird look like terribly ill or something. You have pink eye, sir. Do we need to get you to a doctor? It's okay. Loosen up on it a little bit. That's better. Remember to save, because that's something that is always painful when you forget it. And we're going to keep on going. So let's see. Feet. I think feet are the last... Well, if we wanted to do like a little detail, I'm not even going to bother with the beak. I kind of like it as is. I might bother with this, though. Grab the right shading color for it, since we're shading with different colors. And maybe a slightly larger brush. Nothing crazy, but just add a little depth to that one. Now it's... Oh, wait. No, now it's also time to shade these leaves that should be completely in shadow. Grab the leaf shadow color. Acknowledge that I went way over the lines on some of this earlier. That is my mistake. We just got to sort of shade over it. Or allow it to look like a conglomeration of fall leaves. Okay. Those should be in shadow. This one should be at least partially in shadow. This one ought to be a little bit too. There's a hole in there that looks like a highlight. Acceptable. Acceptable. Okay, I'll go. Dreadful pun that. Even I feel bad about how bad that one was. Okay. So, we'll keep on keeping on. Our leaf shading's looking fine now. So now for feet. I'm not going to do anything crazy on this one. Even that might be too much, we'll see. That's definitely too much, but and for the record, like, there are ways to, I'm sort of like just loosely following the contours to do shadows. I'm not really like actually putting as much thought as I probably should into these. They look decent, but there are ways to make them look proper good that I'll openly admit I have not exactly been following. These shadows don't line up in a way that necessarily makes sense from anything above them, but that's okay. And I'm thinking maybe let's get rid of all this over here. In exchange for maybe something more like an angled one up. Just under the side a little bit. That's a little better. Leave some room for interest there. Sure, it's concave. Feel a little more believable. Whoops. Forgot that I'm operating all on the same layer here. Which is also not something one ought to do if one's doing like a proper drawing, but I'm just trying to blast out a bunch of these little Pokemon ones in not super long amounts of time. Although we're getting faster at it. Like the first ones took so long, and these are now we're getting down to like, it's skewed, so they end up being across two days, but they're basically like just one stream's worth of drawing. That said, generally it's better if you can do like 21-minute drawings or one 20-minute drawing, you should probably do the 21-minute drawings because you're going to get better refined practice on stuff quicker. But we're also having fun doing some entertainment, and I wanted some actually, you know, deliverable results. It's always good for encouragement. Like, practice is always important, but it's also good to make sure you've actually got something you can deliver on. Just to show, like, hey, yes, I can still actually, I can do a thing. I can finish a project. Because heaven knows I certainly don't always. Okay. I think Mur-oh-KROW here, and that is a reminder, this is a Mur-oh-KROW. At least this one looks like it fits the name. We've had so many that don't look at all like they fit the name. Stinking Oshawott. Wonderful. I love the result. I don't think anyone would in a million years guess that it was based on Oshawott. Maybe a million years. If you knew it was Pokemon, you could probably get it in like 20 some odd minutes if you just go through the whole dang Pokedex, but I'm not sure that counts as guessing it so much as brute forcing. I don't know, how long does it take to go through the whole Pokedex? How long was Markiplier's infamous video? About that long. However long it took him to make that nightmare that shredded the internet. That long. Okay. I think Mur-oh-KROW's looking good. So, let's see. I actually don't think I'm going to go for the Mewtwo one. Like I was saying early on in the stream, I can show you the result of it. But the result is already so cool and in such a specific style that I don't think I want to try to translate it. Whoa, That was not the thing I meant to shrink. Whoops. This one is is. Okay, so let's show off Mewtwo, because it's legitimately quite cool. And I guess I can resize this window to be something a little more reasonable. Look at this! I mean, that's awesome. It looks almost like H.R. Geiger's Mewtwo. So cool. So, yeah, I've been having good fun with this one. I don't know, again, we did have Mur-oh-KROW. I'm quite happy with how Mur-oh-KROW has turned out. I don't think we're going to do Mewtwo because it is so cool and so Geiger that I don't think my style is going to do it justice. And because I kind of want to jump into the next thing a little bit this stream. If anyone wants, we can always go back to Mewtwo in the future. I'm fine with that. It's been great fun. It's super cool. And these AI-generated Pokemon have been an absolute blast for the past couple weeks. I'm glad we've had something sort of consistent to work on. But next up, oh, let me grab my notes actually for it, because I had a few things laid out that I'm going to have to dig out as references. Because next up, we are going to... Oh, these are going to be fun. Okay. We are going to be drawing Pokemon items. But what we're actually just drawing is real items in the style of the Pokemon curry ingredients. So, let me swap our views real quick. Oops, that's the wrong one. I can save this. And then we're going to load a recent one. Grabbing our Pokefoods. Here's what I'm talking about. Look at this style. That is so clean. It's so cool. It's not completely lineless, but it's mostly lineless, which, as y'all may have figured out, is absolutely my jam. And let's take a look at the. Whoops, maybe too close. Taking a look at these though. By the way, this program I'm using to sort my reference images is called PureRef. It's free, or you can donate money if you want to support it. It's sort of like Bandcamp for a lot of things. Anyway, it's an absolute blast. And the interface is a little wonky at first, but man, it is so flexible, and it's much easier than trying to juggle multiple like actual windows because it just kind of floats above everything. Definitely recommend. I've been having a good time with it. So, I think, let's see, I don't want to start with something too complicated on this yet, so let's start with something fairly simple. Just looking at these, I guess, right middle mouse to maneuver this one. I still accidentally move my own window of it every single time before I move like my view inside the window. A little funny. This is the one, this is like the quintessential what made me think, oh, these are cool. Because, like, I don't know, it's so simple and clean, but it also looks exactly like I would see that on a shelf and be like, yep, I believe that. The spice is good. The bread in a bag cracks me up, just because I realize, yes, loaves of bread in bags, but at least where I'm at, they don't usually come quite like this. Just half a chunk of bread. I like the carton for this one too. The wrinkles of the bag around it, like they capture good details of them. They're not minimalist in the sense of just being like, eh, but they're good. Like they're minimal, but they capture what's needed, and I like that a lot. So let's give ourselves a quick little save here and move on to drawing those. I think that means we're going to be doing a new file, finally. It's been, holy cow. No, it's been since the 22nd, so it's been a week. Not terrible. Alas, fare ye well to the viewer that popped in for a moment there. It was good having you. Ah well. I'm not here to trap people either. You're free to come and go as you please. How was I? Right, naming conventions. This month, day, because it makes it easily searchable on the computer. Let's do it. Just draw a line. I don't know, fill it with a cover so I could save it properly. Let's see. Not in the exports folder, just here. There we go. Okay. So let's pause our AI Pokemon for a little bit, and let's get back to this. First off, I think I still want to do a raster layer. I'm going to try to mimic one of these first, like we've done on the style studies. You start by actually trying to copy something they've done, get really a feel for how it's done, obviously crediting the source, which is Pokemon Sword and Shield in this case. And we will go from there. Then once we sort of get through one or two of these, then we'll go in and actually start doing it proper. So, step one, I think, is erase this, but unfortunately, set was a raster layer, and we want a vector layer. So we're back at it again with the raster and vectors. I like them both. They both have their place, and they both do good work. But in this case, when we're just outlining, I know what I want, and unfortunately, it ain't raster. So let's see. Solid black outlines, no other black lines inside. Everything, even stuff you'd expect to be a black line, is like smoothed down to a gray. We look at this one, we look at this one. They've got like the lighted corners. It makes it look like a highlight. No black outlines anywhere on these, except for the exterior. Really makes them pop in the backpack. Makes the sort of minimal, otherwise lineless sections show up more. I think it's a good approach. So let's see if we can't do this. Black outline. Although I do need to actually A, not use an eraser for this, and B, I am just going to pencil it in first. Let's get some proportions going in here. Zoom in a little bit. We'll live in this top corner for now. Make sure I get my stuff adjusted just right. Shading is one thing, but like actually trying to draw a straight line that's level is a whole different thing. So, got this. I'm just going to draw sort of the front, which again, the front isn't quite square, if you can see. It's a little bit squatty. Like, we look over here, this dimension to here versus the underside, it's not a box. It's like a little wider. So we're just going to keep up with that. I'm just going to sort of eyeball the proportions on it. I'm not trying to measure this out exactly. I'm just trying to get the feel for the style. This looks like a 45-degree angle, roughly. Maybe a little less than that. Let's somewhere between those two. Interesting thing about how thick the outline is that the feel of where stuff lines up is going to be different on one side versus the other. So I need to make sure I'm a little consistent about thinking about where this final point should be on the inside versus the outside of that black outline, because it's a notable distance because of how thick that outline is, and they look very different when you angle them differently. So I want to make sure I'm aligning in a way that makes some amount of it's consistent. Either way is right, just so long as you're consistent. So then, let's see. This obviously isn't our full outer edge, and this should probably be a roughly parallel angle. Don't believe there's much perspective going on in these drawings. There's a bit. The top of the can. Yeah, okay, there is. But, like, we're maintaining our proportions pretty well. Okay, come on. Fine. A little bit more up. Again, we're just sort of eyeballing distances. Want to make sure it looks decent. We're going to keep on going. I guess I ought to update our stream info. Let's see. Good enough. Getting too many little windows and things popped up here. Okay. So we will go back in there. And again, this should be, whoops, I was on the wrong screen. I was trying to draw on my stream overlay. That isn't going to work. Let's get back in here. This is going to be roughly, well, okay, it's not going to be exactly the same as this, because this one goes up. And I'm trying to see, it does look like this should, perspective-wise, still land in the middle, which makes sense, because even if this is in perspective, this is in the same perspective. So, this should be roughly even there. This is going to match the angle of the above, so this should just come straight down. Just trying to think it through. I'm not actually doing like full-on complicated, like, you know, I'm sure I could measure all that out with great precision if I wanted to and needed to, but we don't. And already there we've got something that looks like a carton. Well, I may just go ahead and do a rough in of where this is. Let's see. And then, yeah, let's just go ahead and ink this. Trace inks. Because we're trying to practice this style. So the whole point of this is we need to actually learn how to draw something like it. Now it is very clearly for this outline a thick border, a round border, and a consistent width border. So I'm going to go for the, let's see. I think Millipen is the best bet of the ones we have. Pardon my yawns. I do apologize, it was a long day at work. But it just makes me more excited to be here streaming. But really, these lines are so straight and precise that I could probably be using the straight line tool for them. But where's the fun in that, really? Like, one of the goals of doing stuff like this too is actually practicing my own skills. And so if I'm just using that, then I'm not actually improving my line drawing. So even if it's going to result in the final piece being a little bit less than perfect, these pieces are designed for practice anyway. I'm not, like, going to post, look at this milk carton I designed, because that'd be a lie. This is just a little bit of practice. We're not going to worry too much about the final product. That said, I would like it to look a little nicer than that. Straight edge. There we go. Just like Shadow the Hedgehog. Straight edge. Let's see. Okay. Looks like we've got... Whoops. Nope. I actually kind of preferred that one. This is going to erase too much. Yep. Okay. I can use a little bit of our line tools on this, but again, the goal of this is not perfection. Where the heck did I put them? I always lose them. It's, oh, that's liquefy. Cool in its own right, and we ought to mess with it sometime. But not exactly what we're going for. Vector editing, here we go. Nope, that's vector object editing. That's a different mess. The one that we are not messing with today. Not auto select. Not the eraser. Not move layer. Where the heck did I put it? Ah, here we go. If we can't connect those, just straighten them out a little bit. Because again, while I'm not going for perfection, we can always try to clean our stuff up a little bit. Although frequently trying to do that does make it worse. Let's simplify the heck out of this line until it's a straight line. There we go. Just got the one control point now. Easy peasy, pumpkin squeezy. Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and do that on all of these. There's no real shame in it. It does look nice, and it's not a huge amount of effort. So I got some line practice, and then we also did a little bit of cleanup. And again, just verifying against my reference over here. For a second, I was like, okay, let's make sure this corner is not the same height as this corner. And that is true in the ref, although I feel like the difference is a little bit more in my drawing, so that's interesting. That's worth a note. Okay, next up in the inks. I'm actually going to go all selecty tool on this. Because, well, no, let's hold our horses a little bit. Not all of this needs to be selecty tooled. First off, though, let's do our base color, because I think that's worth doing. I don't think it's quite as pure white. I think it's like a little bit of a pale one, truth be told. Not much, mind, and more pale towards gray. Well, actually, you know, looking. Okay, actually, let me hide that. Make sure we fill the whole thing. Maybe it is more of a pure white. That's a tiny bit off. Yeah. Also, from the silhouette, I can already tell, like, there's a few things that are a little bit wonky. That's one thing, that's actually a nice thing to learn. I never really thought about, I know it's good to check your silhouettes, but never thought about just using this flat outline and a color to do it. Interesting. I'm not going to mess with it, though, because this is just a quick practice. I'm not going to spend all day on this lovely carton of, what, banana milk? I'm not actually sure what this is. Truth be told, I have no idea. But yeah, okay. Yeah, let's actually go with our fill first. Let's do a little bit of, let's have some fun with that. Heck, we can even just do an ellipse for this one. That's what they did the first time too. Thinking about, whoops, nope. No, just this. That's roughly, let's think, 2/3 of the top, would you say? I'd say. Edge line's a little high, which truthfully it probably shouldn't. Let's do that. Then actually our magenta here isn't too far off. I think we just need a little bit of lightness, a little bit of redness. That's pretty good. There we go. And I'm gonna do the same thing. Again, this style, it's so sharp that it is actually kind of, I don't usually like using the shape tools, but there are times when they are exactly what you need. Let's go ahead and just get our deep blue in here already. Not quite that deep, mind. There, that'll do. And for the record, this carton, even in simplicity, very good color combination. Blue and magenta work very well together. So, oops, we'll do a little bit of line in just a minute, of course. But let's look at any other things where we're going to actually want to just block in a shape, perhaps. I think the last one is let's use polyline. Not a tool I use often, for all the reasons I've cited above. But it is sort of a quintessential part of the milk carton to have the triangle in the top right corner, isn't it? Okay. Now, I think let's put away our traces, because we've sort of defined our edges just by these pieces, for better or for worse. Let's start dealing with some of the grays, because they're sort of the big areas, and I'm just gonna pop them in there, really. Don't even need to use selection pen necessarily, but it lends itself to rounded corners, which you may have noticed a lot of the grays in this have. So, let's see. For example, this ought to start, oops, nope, right there. And I'm just gonna continue it there. Well, we gotta think about, we're not quite going where the edge would be. We need to imply the existence of the edge, which actually we are just gonna straight up draw in later, it looks like, so that's fine. But we can go ahead and practice some of our line work regardless. Let's see. I feel like that's better for the top section. Which, okay, actually we can use that. Okay, we can sharpen up the edges a little bit. But B, that's basically what this one is. And the other place that shows up, I think at a 6 and not an 8, frankly, it's going to be the upper line here. So let's remember this gray, because I think we want to do a little more with the, oh, I guess it's also these two, isn't it? Well, maybe if we have the straight line tool, or in this case, polyline. Actually, this is bad for select, isn't it? Yeah, that just erased itself from existence. Let's actually use the straight line tool, though. That's another one we never use, ever. And do that a little better. I'll say a 12, maybe. That's a little strong for it. Maybe 8. Yeah. I guess this is a bolder gray. Really, these three on sort of that we're looking at are kind of a bolder gray than this. Yeah, I guess the upper corner of this is the only thing that's really like that. So let's get our softer gray first. I'm gonna actually really what I ought to do that is this, I think. Yeah. That's what we needed. Okay. Sort of got our line there. Got these are the softer ones, they're not the harsh ones. We haven't got quite enough contrast for it yet. Okay, that's fine. Not how you're supposed to use the line tool, but it technically works, so nobody can tell you not to. Let's see. Okay, we've got this here. Just maybe that ought to be a slightly darker. And then I'm going to go back to my selectee for a polyline here. A little bit of practice here. Hell, that's a little wonky. Make that one softer. Whoops. Bill does have its one downside, and that downside is that. Hey! Nice, somewhere between the two. Hey, fill tool, why so pixely? And why do you keep expanding outside your borders? That serves me right. I just need to go and draw the thing. Be indiscernibly different. There we go. Yeah, you can tell our initial proportions were a little wonky. That matters a lot for drawings of this style. The proportions are such like the outline has so much weight and importance with it that it really shows. There, that one up a little bit. And I guess we can grab this one, and we can even darken it a tad, just to help with our contrast a little. And then I need to fix that angle a little bit because I want it to be sharper than that. So we're just gonna, oop, there we go, sharpened angle. I don't want a vector erase. I want to hard erase small. Whoops. Actually, maybe what I want to do is just grab this pure white, do a line of it to cover it up. Basically the same for most intents and purposes, although there are some where that's not true. There we go. Sharper edge on that now. That's looking better. So there's a little more we need to do. We've got our background white being used in a little bit of line work here to imply some text. I think that's even going to be a 12. Yeah. Hope if those were quite on the same level. There we go. We're going back to the 8 for a little bit of the gray, but even it's going to be a darker gray than this one. Again, a little more this way and a little more this way. We'll see how that does. Yeah. Well, that one actually looks like it's got a tad more blue in it. Pop it that way just a hair. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so step 1 is this. Notice it probably needs to be a 10 to match the line it's on. And that line is just the wrong width. What is it, a 9? It's an 8 with full pressure. That may be the issue. Yeah, that's fine. And then there's this one, which is the only line in the whole thing that isn't sharp. Because of that, it ends up carrying a lot more weight than you'd think. It's pretty immediately noticeable. Not maybe consciously, but like, you're like, oh, that's sort of a soft edge where something's folded weird. Because these cartons always fold weird. This ought to continue a little further. And before y'all complain, because I know I was going to, yes, we will clean up the edges on this a little bit. There we go. Okay, we're pretty close, we're pretty close. I see 4 more details that need to happen. And 3 of them are easy, and one of them is probably unfair to classify as a single detail. But we'll get there. 1. Let's see. 2, 3. Gotta make sure we have a slight angle on the start and end points for these. So that they actually look like they're on a slant, and they're not just printed wrong. And, you know, what this is making me realize, let's do a quick ink fix. Because again, I know I'm not perfectioning it, but I think with like 1 control point, we can straighten some of this out. And as we've added more details, it has become increasingly obvious that we need to bring this corner down. Oops, nope. Nope, okay, cool. That's not a hotkey I can use. That's fine. There we go. Still not perfect, but notably better. And then let's go ahead and fix the difference there. Boom, now that edge is looking much better. Let's see what else we can look at from the original style. Because this one doesn't have many wrinkles. What it does have is, oh, I almost missed a very important thing. A very faint shadow indeed. Grab this one. Really? Okay. Oh, I guess it's... Yeah, okay. Pretty close then. Gotcha. A little bit of work here, because we do actually have an edge here. It's just not quite the actual edge. Whoa! Let's work with a slightly smaller line. Once again, we sort of get the implied weird corners that these inevitably have. This color was far too dark for what we were looking for. So let's chill out a little on that. Bring it almost all the way back up. It still needs to be darker than this though, and it looks like it's leaning more towards reddish than bluish. Or here. Hey, no. I'm gonna have to get rid of that line now. I do think this is roughly the right shadow color. But it does mean that our other grays here were probably off by comparison. Be a little careful with that. Okay. Anywhere else that's happening? I realize that, oh, there is, I think, a tiny bit of actual pure white right there. Or purer white than everything else. That's fine. That's whatever. Okay. Grab this. Straight line this old one out of the way. Edge remnants. There we go. Let's make all of these a little bolder. The fill tool doesn't accidentally eat everything. Okay. Wonder if I can adjust this thing's tolerance real quick. Okay, here we go. It's nasty though. One downside of this. It's just a little pixel. I know we've got anti-aliasing it on, but that's heck an alias. So, we're just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. Much for my bold claim that there were only 3 details left, right? Yeah, that's how it goes. Nope, okay, choose the blurring color then. This does feel better anyway, honestly. Those gray tones didn't seem right, but they were right enough that I was like, I'll move on. I'm happy with this. I'm happy that we're fixing it. guess this is a chance to fix this other line too a little bit. I know I said we wouldn't nitpick it, and then I'm nitpicking the heck out of it. But well, it would appear that I lied. My apologies. We'll just have to keep on going with it then. There we go. That's a better gray for that anyway. Grab this one. We'll do a finer point line just a little clean up here. That's fine. Okay. Right. One more spot. This. And we're gonna go. I'm gonna go polyline my friend again a little bit since we polylined. I realize the angles on this polyline are also woefully off. That's okay. Because we can just straight line. Fail to fix them, but you know, cover up this border that shouldn't be here. Give us our rounded edges that we're looking for. There we go. Okay. Now, I believe we are finally down to the one detail that I said we were going to be down to earlier. Let's get to the actual, like, what is this? Banana apple juice? Apple juice? Oat milk? Cashew chaos medley? I have no idea what's in this box. Banana milk? Banana milk's a thing. Or banana juice. Okay. This is interesting because they do actually use some tapered lines here as well. Not in the box design except for this one little bit here and the one little corner down here. But for this actual image, they absolutely do. But first off, I mean, if you look at our background color, it's actually not a bad starting point to try to figure out where we want to get these tones. We want something a little warmer, a little darker for the actual background on this. Oops, that's filled further than we would like it to. Let's provide ourselves a boundary here. Once again, this corner sort of curves in, whether that's part of the packaging design or just to show the inevitable bumps and prodded corners on those. Either way, fine by me. I did see it snuck a little bit up there, but that's fine. I do think we've gone a tad darker than we oughta, though. Okay. Close enough. We don't, again, not rocket science, despite the fact that I keep approaching it like it is. Let's keep moving. So, got kind of our deeper brown color. Probably a little more reddish. Yeah, okay. And then we need a different pen for this. We need a pen that I don't usually like using because it takes more skill than I have. But either the G pen or the turnip pen, I think, is what we're gonna want. And I think turnip pen on a larger size with slightly less, or slightly more taper, rather. I may have to dig deeper in this. No, there's a whole lot buried in these commands. Here, I'll scoot it over. Whole lot. Okay, stroke? Nope. Oh, that's brush shape. That's less relevant for this. Okay, so if we put this, then the starting point starts out pretty faint. I think? I'm unsure. Yeah, there's a million. You can dig endlessly into this. Oh, I guess I don't have anything actually set to make with that. Okay. And guess it's just gonna be down to my actual pressure with this. Okay. Well, not a good sign. But that's okay. Oh, I guess I'm not on a vector layer, am I? Whoopsie doodle. Up a little bit of nonsense. Okay. And back to the matter at hand. Looks like our bananas are... I'm actually going to store this color in a little blob over to the side and come back to it, because actually what we ought to do is fill in the banana form first. let's start here and let's even make this like paler and lighter. Like barely noticeably yellow at all. Okay, and then we're gonna go in and we're not gonna turnip this one. We are gonna millipin this one, but turnip pin will be back. Don't you worry. In banana form is something like this. There are sub-bananas behind and shaded banana. That's okay. We're gonna keep on banana until the... Well, I guess the cows probably wouldn't come home for bananas on a banana farm. But if they... We're gonna keep going until they do. That's probably overcommitting myself a little bit. I don't even have any cows that are gonna come home. What am I gonna do? I can't leave until I obtain a cow, but how would I attain a cow? Oh no. Okay. Pending cow discoveries. Let's keep going on this. Still pull the heck out of these a little bit because I'm just getting the rough shapes. Because all of our actual line work and shading is really defined not by this, although I do want to take the millipin and just run it along the edge once to sort of smooth these out a little bit. Man, Bill really does like its pixels. This is still pixely, but it's much better, you gotta admit. Interesting bit of believable packaging here. I mean, honestly, if this was an actual marketing department, like, I might, these are packaged in a way that I'm like, yeah, I want that. They look good. See, I didn't get any taper there, because I kind of went my max. Oh, because I'm on the millipin, that's why. I'm gonna use the tapers, I need the turnip. I'm going at it till we get the right one. There we go, that's pretty good. Sort of, man, this one's tough because it tapers on both ends. That's not bad. This sort of come up a little more. The scratching in is definitely not something you can easily do with a tapering brush, because the flow of the stroke matters. So this is why it matters to practice like getting consistent strokes. Is because for stuff like this, you can't just be like, oh, I'll just feel my way in and get the shape going. You need to be able to go like that, or with the proper sensitivity. Anyway, we don't need any of... Whoops! Got a little overzealous in my erase there. Speaking of... Okay. Zoop those on out of here. Another one here. Kind of meets... It's a little past where this one goes, so that's fine. Again, it's always good to orient yourself relative to the other things in your scene. I really just sort of like feed into this one almost. There we go. Because that helps you keep your proportions more in check, is if, like, it's at least the easiest way to catch if you're messing up, is you're like, oh, that's wrong compared to everything else. Your eyes have a much stronger sense of being able to intuitively figure that out. Whereas like this, if I'm just, like, I'm trying to look relative to where the edge of this is, I'm trying to look relative to where these are, for this last I'm gonna say good enough on those. Again, partly because I don't need to be perfectionisting them right now, and partly because that's some line work is something I need to practice on a lot. Just like I know we've talked a lot, I need to do a stream where I just practice arms. We ought to do one where I just practice lines too, really. Let's see, I'm gonna grab this and then just make like a slightly paperier and darker one, and we're gonna use that for our. Whoa, not pastels, pins, please. No longer the turnip pin, but back to my preference, something consistent like the milli. We're going to add some of these shadows in here that need to be in here. First off, the entire back banana here. And this is a tad too gray. I know I said I wanted it papery, but not quite that bad. There we go. smart, I'd have done this before I did my lovely tapered turnip pen lines, because now I run the risk of messing them up. Yeah, that one. Yep, the whole thing's in shadow, and then there's additional shadow. I would actually say the same with this one back here. It's kind of a background banana. Or apple? Is this supposed to be apple juice? What the heck is this? Honest to goodness, like, it doesn't matter in the actual, like, package design. If anything, ambiguity is probably good for international regions where they might have different fruit, like, familiarity. But for the life of me, is this a Pokemon berry I should be familiar with? What is this? And it's interesting for the actual, like, brand detail and like the natural parts, they go to way more shadow detail and way more like effort. They've got the tapered lines, they've got a whole bunch of stuff that they don't bother with for the rest of the package, which is true, you'll find across all of these designs. In fact, let's even take a look at some of the others. Like, you've got the can, and yeah, it's got a shading, but the beans have so much more going on. You've got this box, and obviously the detail is all in the actual food here. It's got reflection lights, it's supposed to simulate an actual image of the food rather than just box branding, and it shows. In this one, the spices have more detail, although the sort of cork cap actually gets a little more than you'd expect. Bread itself doesn't have as much detail to begin with, so that's not, the bag is the focus because it's got all the plastic, but in this one it's the food, in this one it's definitely the food. I mean, holy cow, look at how much they've got going on here compared to just like up here. This one, it's kind of 50-50 because the plasticky bag mixed with the pasta noodles being fairly plain food items means that it's sort of mixed, but like they pay attention to where your focus would be on the actual package for these. And it shows, I gotta say. Let's see, so I'll keep coloring in the basics. And wow, we're at 9:15 already. I've spent too long on this. But yeah, we'll finish up with some of our banana basics. An apple, banary. No, that's a Pokemon. Anyway, we'll wrap this up. We won't worry too much about the details. Although, again, if anyone's got anything they want me to correct, I am open to it. Of course, of course. I do think we need the package. Like, yes, in packaging, sometimes they do the little trick where it goes over the edge. But also, have you seen these little cartons? They're not doing fancy packaging tricks. They're like printing in 4 colors. 2 of those colors are black and white. Like, this is absolutely just going to end at the edge. Just like those do. Okay. And, yeah, I guess there's one more tone we could try to grab. It's sort of like this, but slightly warmer. A little brighter. I don't want to go too far into the reds where it's going to get conspicuous. Like that. That's far into the reds. That, I mean, it's still clearly too red for what some of this is, but that's fine. It's supposed to be dark. Man, our background beige is a little too harsh anyway, so maybe. Okay, actually, let's grab our background beige. Let's like lighten it up a hair and hue it up a hair too. And yes, that's looking much happier. And yeah, then I'm just gonna grab that as our baseline. I'm going to red up just a hair, darken just a hair without losing our hue. For anyone who doesn't know, hue is basically part of color that you probably think of when you think color. Like darkness and lightness, you've got hue, value, and saturation. And honestly, this may have been as much saturation as anything that I'm actually doing here. Gotten too much red in it. But if you talk about, oh, we need to make it more red, you're changing the hue. Not Hue Neutron. For anyone concerned, not him. He is stable throughout all of color because he is the basis for all color theory. You can't. There's not a hue HUGH slider for this exact reason. You can trust me on that. ourselves some proper Pokemon music now. Kind that haunts one's childhood. Perhaps even beyond. Yeah, I seriously just straight up failed to beat Cynthia as a child. I only beat her on the remakes. And even then she absolutely team wiped me the first time, so oops. Oopsie doodle. Well, speaking of doodles, and we've made this a little too dark still. Let's stop. Well, it should be lighter than that one, but this has been like a tiny bit darker. It's such a faint difference. No matter. There we go. We've got ourselves a carton. It's not quite as clean as that one. I mean, now that it's all put together, my brain's immediately like, oh, these 2 points are too high vertically compared to this one. And this one is too far to the right compared to that one. It should be straight down. But it's amazing how they can see that. And I do feel like we still learned a lot about the style, about where they put detail, where they put the focus, the border stylings, how they do grays. There's, like, for minimalist designs, there's a heck of a lot more detail in these than it initially lets on. So, I think what we're going to do is, we've done our little trace one. It's a lovely little milk carton. We're going to leave it like that. And I'm going to go and get an actual proper ref that I can use. And we're going to draw something proper-like in this style, best as we can. Normally with a style study, again, I'd like to do 2 or 3, but I'm just not that fast with the digital art yet. And because we're doing this for a little bit of entertainment too, I don't want to keep y'all here for ages, and I don't really have the ages to spare, unfortunately. So we're just going to go much as we can on this. And is this even plugged in? Ah, that's fine. That would appear that it was. My chagrin. Probably shouldn't be. Okay. So I'm going to grab something fun for us to draw. I've been actually looking forward to this for a little while now. And we will pop back on after a quick little restroom break. And we're going to try to draw a lava lamp in this style. Don't ask why I have a lava lamp. Reasons. Because I lava them very much. Okay, on that note, we're going to take a quick pause, and I will see y'all in just a couple minutes. Howdys and salutations, y'all! We are back at it. So, let's see. I'm probably going to put away the reference for y'all. I'm still going to keep it open on my end. Well, maybe it'll be good context for anyone. But yeah, I'm going to keep this open, just so we sort of have the style on hand on easy reference. I'm especially going to keep these two because, A, this one I just love, and this one sort of shows how they're doing reflection. These two both show reflections around a rounded surface, which I think is very relevant, especially because they do angle it up a little bit to deal with the curve, but not super much. So that, I think, is what we're going to be wanting the most of. Let's even make this not take up quite so much space. How about that? Make it like a little thing with these four. Pop it up in the corner here. Okie dokie. Now, let's pop these into a folder. I'm just going to do, I guess trace is the wrong word. I didn't actually trace that. I just drew from reference, but let's see. So I've got my lava lamp open before me. Now, not turned on because they take like 5 hours to warm up, and I haven't got 5 hours, unfortunately. And, you know, as much as I'd love to be up at 2 a.m. just starting, also my lava lamp, much as I like it, doesn't work that well. So it might not even work then. But that's okay. That is okay. Because we're just going to draw it anyway, because it's a fun little lava lamp. So step one, I think what we learned is maybe let's just start with the straight line tool for some of this stuff. And I'm going to get nitpicky about it anyway. Let's see, we've got 30 minutes. Let's see if we can't finish this in 30 minutes. Lava lamp sketch. LL inks and wow, no, not links thin. And of course, oh, actually, that should be LL color, shouldn't it? This one will be LL inks. Cool. Let's get our sketch in here real quick. We'll just go ahead and do black. And I am going to still use the straight line tool, even though it's a quote-unquote sketch, because I want to figure out the proportions of this a little bit. This thing is way more vertical than I ever give it credit for. So I'm going to use this to snap it into a direct vertical line, which already looks slightly off angle. That's weird. Maybe I need to roll? No. Okay, I guess that is vertical. My eyes are just really deceiving me. Well, no wonder we got some weird proportion stuff last time if I can't even tell an actually provably vertical line is right side up. I feel like this is a tiny bit further apart than this, just in my mind. Well, anywho. Let's get in here. So, actual proportions of the lava lamp. Because I'm here and I have a ruler with me, I'm just going to use it. Again, out of practice eyeballing this, but admittedly I'm a little tired. So we're talking 14 inches tall, and we're talking 3.5 inches wide. Now that doesn't necessarily mean in a normal drawing that you could just be like, oh, 14 and 3, because you always get perspective in there that's going to mess with things, but because this style, best as I can tell, is isometric, we're not going to have to worry about that too much. Maybe there's perspective to it. I don't think they're big enough. I don't think they bothered. So then this is also going to be, that said, I'm still not going to go crazy on this. Let's do, that's 14, that's 3, 6, 9, 12, that's going to be about 1/5. So let's say that's roughly 1/5, which is shorter than I would have eyeballed, so that's good to know. Whoops, okay. Wait. See, copy it. Let's move these down just to see if we're actually right. Nope, I still made it. Actually, we're pretty close. Whoopsie doodle. It's still a hair too long, truthfully. But only a hair too long. And make it a little bit. We can delete these other ones, or if I was smart, I can just use the eraser. Oops, nope. I'd actually like to keep this one if I can. Now we're going to rotate this, what? Rotate. Whoops. Nice. Comedy of errors there. Okay. How's about we get back to our actual pen here, anywho. Rotate this, use shift to snap it into place. Bring it down to slightly below halfway. That's the widest point on our lava lamp. These things are narrow, and if we're really doing a characterization of it, we ought to make it even more narrow. Pop it down a little bit. That's fine. Okay. Now, its thinnest is about 2 inches as opposed to 3.5. Okay, I guess, truthfully, it'd be a tiny bit longer than this. Because it's 14 to 3.5, it's not 15 to 3. That looks more correct anyway. Greetings and salutations, person in chat. EXT106. I mean, you sound like a bot. What do you need help with? If you're not a bot, you know, maybe I might be able to. We're mostly a drawing stream, though, so unless it's drawing advice. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So what you looking for help with? No guarantees on anything. What you looking for? Right now, we mostly been drawing Pokemon items, but again, backseating's encouraged. I'm, you know, open to mix it up a little. Shadow with a floating top hat. Intriguing proposition. What's the occasion, if I might ask? Okay. Typically for profile pictures, you'd want to, you know, actually find someone you can commission for it. I'm not really doing commissions at the moment, but I could do a quick doodle, but I probably can't send it to you or anything. Give me just a moment, see what I can find. So what brings you to the stream? I don't believe we've seen you around before. Not that that's a problem. Always welcome to new folks. Shadow with a top hat. You're talking about just something like, let me throw a new layer on here real quick. And hide the other stuff temporarily. Oh, thanks. Yep, you know, we're just beginner, we're just popping stuff out. Or, wow, that's not the right phrasing at all. We're just popping things together, I suppose. Shadow with a top hat. I mean, honestly, like, you know, let's see. I'm partial, personally, to the selection pen. We can get something sort of going here. Small top hat on the shadow. Okay. Let's see. Trying to think of an interesting shadowy figure, perhaps. Just like a small top hat. Let's see. Trying to. Jitterbug look to it, maybe. I don't know. We can go for slightly off, given the blues, maybe. That's something interesting. Start with that. We'll acknowledge that I'm on the wrong layer for it entirely. Fix that. Go in here. We'll tweak this a little, of course. Small top hat. Always more fun when they're at a bit of a crooked angle, aren't they? Whoops, that might be a tad much for that. maybe I ought to exaggerate that a tad less, perhaps. Say exaggerate it less. We're still getting quite a wild-looking thing in here. Let's refine this a little bit. You know, trust the process and all that. That said, backseating is, of course, welcome. Might help if I the right tool for the job on this. It's looking more like an apple core than a top hat. Let me round this off a little bit, maybe. That a little bit. I'll have to work on the brim a tad, perhaps. But, you know, mostly accents always what gets these going anyway. So let's get an actual proper spiffing band on here. It up a little bit. Probably ought to actually look up a top hat reference before I just like blindside one. Let's see. Now we can do a bigger brush if we want that to look halfway decent. Hey, welcome back. Feel free to backseat, by the way. You know, I'm just sort of throwing stuff on the paper right now. Oh, that means, I guess it's Twitch lingo. Basically, in gaming, backseating is when you tell the player what to do. It's generally considered rude unless they specifically request it, because oftentimes people spoil games and stuff. But since we're learning to draw here. Oh, whoops, nope, not screen tones. I'm down for feedback and suggestions and all that jazz. It's based on the older saying "driving from the back seat," which is where if you're trying to drive a car and someone from the back seat is constantly telling you how to drive, it's really stinking annoying. But again, here we're sort of we're having a chill time. Let's see. I'm gonna look up an actual top hat reference. That looks like a stinking apple core, if I might say so. Let's see. Top hat. No. Well, I'm backseating friendly, so it's fine. A lot of folks aren't necessarily friendly to drawing requests. It depends on what they're up to. But yeah, I'm down. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do your request. This top hat has ended up more exaggerated than I think is entirely reasonable. Yeah, no, you're fine. Let's just clear this fella out. Yeah, I don't think we can do links in chat. Twitch safety and security, all that jazz, you know. Sorry about that. No worries. No worries. Frankly, what I was going for was something closer, like, we'll give this guy a little texture in a minute. But I was thinking of the dust sprites, if you've ever seen, like, Totoro. Or, I guess that was from, yeah, it was from Totoro. And also from Spirited Away, now that I think about it. Good little critters. Yeah, it's a cute one. And apologies for thinking we're a bot earlier. We get a fair number of them. Oh yeah, they're cute shows. I'd recommend them if you got the time. Thinking about this, not sort of. That's what'll do it. The actual silhouette is fairly plain. What gets these are the ribbons. Oh yeah, Kiki's delivery service is a blast. I'm trying to think of the one about the book. Really just use Phil for this. There's so many of them. But yeah, Kiki's is super cute. Okay. A little bit of the black because these always have sort of their fan up doing that. Oh, yeah, that was the one with the cat statue, right? Whisper of the Heart. Well, it's one of the two with the cat statue. Yeah. You know, they made it's not really a sequel. It's sort of a spiritual successor with another one with that cat statue in it. Called The Cat Returns, fittingly. It's also pretty fun. Very different from Whisper of the Heart, I'll say, but fun in its own right. Let's see. We're doing profile picture. You'll probably need a little more vertical. A little wider size on that. Oh yeah, we'll do. Make sure we'll get the Slipstreams logo and all that jazz going. Don't worry. Just a half a second. Let's see. I don't know if you want them to have like feetsies or what have you. You know, whatever you want to do. I'm just sort of winging it on this, so these are not charming feetsies. May need to work on that. So, what you looking for? Well, profile picture for. If you don't mind me asking. Whoops, sorry, popped up the wrong thing. Let's see. You like starting a streaming channel of your own, or you just looking for something to peruse around with? Oh, okay. Fair enough, fair enough. I'll admit I haven't been on TikTok enough as of late. And by enough, I mean I haven't been on there yet. I'm worried about the cybersecurity stuff, but like it looks like it's got a fun community. Oh, that's distracting from the top hat. Let's get something that's a little more top hat friendly on here, mayhaps. Let me know your thoughts on any of this for the record. You know, that was not the right eraser. Okay. Maybe we can make him a little more wibbly wobbly. I think that'd fit for a shadow. into it. Let's see. Oops, nope, that ain't at all what we're looking for, I don't think. Okay. A little definition of that, mayhaps. And we can give him, let's see, or her, or it, or however we want to do it. A little bit of texture, mayhaps. We can get slightly darker on there. I'm gonna do a little shadow figure. Yeah. I gotta make sure this multiply. Okay. I'm trying to think about how we'd even do shadow on this fellow, really. Kind of his own shadow. If that, yeah, I think that something. Or we can even get in a little deeper with some of these. Boy, I had a good signature developed a while back. What did I ever do with that? Was it on Sakura? No, it was on this one. Right, okay. Let's here. Gotcha. Okay. So pixely. Oh, when they get small like this, let's see. Hey, welcome back. Probably ought to work on that text to be actually a tad readable if we want to do that. Get out of the way. Do you have a username on there that you'd want in this too? Okay. Do you have a username on Discord or TikTok in general? I should look up. Okay. Oh, okay. Same name you got here then. Nice. Okay, well, I think we've got a little something if this is, this is what you're looking for. Of course. Happy to. Feel free to drop a follow and drop by. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I figured that's what you'd want to do. It's easier than here, let me get it zoomed up so you can make guys stuff. It's a little pixely, but fine. Alright, thank you. Appreciate the follow. Does mean I probably need to fix the alerts though. That's on me. Maybe it'll come through in a minute. Cool. Yeah. What kind of stuff do you do on Discord or TikTok? If you don't mind me asking, of course. Fair enough. Yeah, go for it. Good way to relax. I'm up here just trying to draw art because I realized easier when you've got a schedule and people might actually show up and watch. It forces you to actually remember to do it. Good way to get practice. But yeah, everyone's got their own thing. Well, thanks for dropping by. Hope you enjoy the icon. Yeah, I'll let you get to it then. I think we probably need to wrap up here anyway. Yeah, we're live Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, same time. So if you ever want to drop by, feel free to say hi. Otherwise, good luck with everything. Have a good one. Probably move this out of the way. Well, actually, no, I should just hide it. I learned from last time if I move it out of the way, I'll never find it again. We'll get the hang of this one these days. Okay, well, that's a cute little dude. Doodle, I suppose. Anyway, cool. Okay, and for everyone else here, I think that we will be wrapping up shortly. Thank you again for dropping by. Had a bit of a surprise icon drawing thing going in here. Nothing wrong with that. Hope it goes to a good cause. As for everything else, tomorrow we will pick up again. We'll pick up with our lava lamp and with our Pokemon style items. I believe, unless anyone wants any more of the AI Pokemon, I think we're going to wrap them up for now, although we can always come back. And then it looks like September does have a handful of interesting, well, not competitions, but sort of challenges. So I think that might be something we want to do. And one of these days, this isn't for a little bit, but we're going to get into animation. One of these days, though. I mean, I can animate the bouncing ball right now, but like the basic tutorial for every animation thing, but much beyond that is much beyond me for the moment. We'll get to it someday. Also, I know September we also talked about Blender. We will have to see. I would love to. I really want to get back into it. But unfortunately, being sick sort of towards the end of last week did throw a slight wrench in my plans of taking the focus to actually make something again in Blender. That said, it is an absolute blast. So yeah, hopefully we'll come back to it sometime. Until then, I think that we will wrap up for now, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one.